All right, let me hide some stuff here and then let's kind of get started. Take a look at it on the weekly time frame first. Well, change that. Look at it on the monthly real quick because we're almost close to the end. So let me hide all of this. And let's make these more unified. All right, so when you guys look at the monthlies, which is about to close right now, we're inside the monthly balance, right? We haven't really explored much higher than the previous value that we had. So in essence, what is that telling you? If you had a breakout, but you're not too far from the value of the prior amount, what is that telling you?
There's no initiative buyers.
I mean, that's correct. There's no initiative buyers, and we can't agree that the price deserves to go higher at the moment until we are able to either defend this level, which we did already once when you guys zoom in a little bit. So your April value area highs here, you came back and basically bounced from that level, which is what you want to see on this time frame. So when you zoom out a little bit, right? So you had 2-month balance. I would say this is overlapping balance with the 3rd month in May now, and we're almost close to close, and we are below the POC. And when you look at the price action, right, we probably have a very strong chance that if we can reclaim this really quick, and that's why I went short here earlier. If you're not able to reclaim this quick, ideally on higher time frame, and want to test this 5280 and see if they're present. If they're not able to sustain this, it gets really tricky then, right? And the reason why I say that is if you're not able to build value here, most likely you're going to test the bottom of the value here, which is 5211. And that would be our HVN node based on the 3-4 months of VRP that we are looking at here. So high chance you'd be going here, but ultimately this becomes almost like a 3-month bracket. And then you'll be targeting to hit the bottom of this zone right here, which would be 5096 all the way to about 70, so about 20 points range. That's if they're not able to hold at 210, but a lot of weakness would be if they enter the April value area. And that's kind of on a higher time frame what you're watching. And if you switch this now, let's just switch it here for weekly profile, and we'll switch it to 65. We'll do 2 hours just for visibility. And if you look here, what do you notice right now about this value? So this is your last week here. Anyone noticing anything unusual?
It's really
Yep.
tight.
Yeah, the width of it is really tight. It's
You
over.
also-
So when we talk about directional performance, is this what you want to see as the auction higher?
No.
It looks like you have
No.
a tight performance with a search above and a failure and a search below.
That's correct.
Looks like it's getting ready for a big move.
So, and if this is our previous week value area high, which I just marked here. So if you think about this, if this is our previous week value area high at 22, do you guys recall anything about this level? Just kind of top of your head, like, do you know why 23, 22 was important?
That's a previous all-time high.
That's correct. So path means previous all-time high, just to kind of abbreviate it. So this is a big level for them, just because of the price action. If they're able to lose this, I mean, when you look at the profile of the week prior, there's a lot of single prints that are still intact here. They really haven't fixed it. They came back here on a Thursday. I would say Thursday is most likely an outside day. We'll check. I'm pretty certain it would be. They came back and they filled these single prints all the way down, and now they're holding. So if they rejected these and we don't fall back, let's say below, for me, really the essence, the key level is 5310 in terms of, if we crack this, then we're most likely going to look to build value in the bottom section I would say, going back to this level here, 52.46 would be probably desirable for bulls and defend it. If they crack this below, it's still not necessarily the end of the world as long as they keep the framing up on a weekly. But considering that this was a tight week, the week prior, right here, you explored, higher, you explored lower, and you didn't like it. And if you guys paid attention to the PowerPoint, it says if you go look above and you fail, and you look below, you fail, there's a really high chance you're going to close somewhere in the middle. If you guys remember the classes and the notes. And that's pretty much what they did. That means that they're negotiating. They're trying to figure out where they're going to take this. Right. So if they're able to go above 34.25, I would say my bullish bias goes up a little bit just because this is a 2-week POC now. If they crack below it, like here they are, if they go below it, there's a high chance that they're probably going to go to this first sig here sitting at 10. So then you can just simply take that, the 2 weeks here and find it, right? So it happens to be, I'm on ETH, yeah, I was on RTH earlier. So 5302, and you have the excess low here. So it's not an area where you want to be putting your chips on the short side here too much. If you're shorting 34, this is probably not a bad exit, 30 points or so to close it. But if they do defend this previous week value area high, what does that signal to you?
Accepting price.
Accepting prices, do not be very bearish if you see a strong bounce here tonight. And especially if this bounce yields to a higher high and we crack the CPOC, you want to be careful short. Your opportunity for short is not necessarily here, right? Or here. Your opportunity is if they go look above here, and then we have this major weekly access, right, from Friday, from this candle here. So if they're able to do something like this, then this would be worth it, right? You short this, you put it above top, let's even say give them 10 points. You'd be targeting a little bit more than 70 points on if you can keep a runner all the way down. Okay. So weekly imbalance, really, really tight value area, which is indicating that there's not a lot of long time participants inside, meaning when the price went above, there was responsive activity. When the price went below, what was there? Responsive activity. There's other time frame buyers, other time frame sellers, and they're selling above and they're buying below. So now this is basically kind of like a war between them here. Which way do we go? If we're able to break this balance, let's say out of this weekly access 48, I would say probably grab the fibs of this range here and project them for the week and higher, and also for the lower side. So weekly imbalance, right? You guys saw the monthly's imbalance. And then we'll check here just the daily and see what information we have. So here's your monthly. So monthly, you're in balance overlapping, right? The value area is pretty wide on the monthly so far. And you have this candle that we were looking for. We were looking for access high here. If they absorb this, we're going to run 300-400 points. So all the shorts are going to start covering if they're able to squeeze this higher. So this close of this month is fairly important. If you guys look at the previous months here, on this one, we close outside. Right now, if we close inside, and the value area high, value area is shifting a little bit higher on a higher time frame, the bulls are in control. On the weekly time frame, this is the last week of the month. It'll be important to see what they do, right? On how do they close and what are they indicating? Is there any changes? And here's a little bounce off the previous week value area high. Let me turn on the TPO. Probably not a bad spot to cover if you shorted this 10 points. And then you guys look here, let's just go on 2 hours while this brings up. So if you just zoom out, what do you guys see at the top here? What does this look like here?
Doing like a retail trading pattern.
Well, this looks like there's a little bit of absorption happening, right? When you came in here, you peaked above and you got these massive sellers. You almost, I believe you filled the gap completely here, 52.74, and now you're stuck somewhere in the middle, right? You went all the way to 34, you got rejected by the CPOC of this area. So now, if they're able to crack that, let's say, it looks like 5306 got tapped twice, once, twice. That's your first, for me, it's 53.10. Once they lose that, there's a high chance they're going to sweep this and crack this 06. I would keep an eye on 06 because there's a lot of retail that's going to see this as a double bottom right here at 5306-ish or so. And I would definitely watch to see how do they behave at that level. And this is not, for me, this is not a level where I would look to short. This is my sentiment on how am I going to play the rest of the day. Does that make sense? If I'm going to short, I'd rather short at higher prices imbalance than short the bottom prices imbalance. Because right here, you don't want to be shorting anywhere close to this 0598. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's look at the daily. And you want to use Fridays. And if you do RTH, today's would not even count anyways. I'm just going to remove this green line here. So let's take a look what they did Friday. I'm just going to hide the candles. So Thursday, obviously, this is an outside day, right? So you went above. Typically, what do I say on outside day? How do you play an outside day, outside week? You're expecting a move, and either break of this high or this low, you want to go with that direction because those moves are pretty aggressive. And since this is daily, we will be framing down, of course, here if you crack this, but you're really not framing. We had this scenario happen not too long ago when we had an outside day or outside week, and I said do not get so bearish just by cracking the prior week because it was an inside week and the prior week was outside. So here you got to pay attention to this 74. That was the last closure of the gap. And also here you do have some single prints that are, I guess, if you want to call it division on value, right? So that would be here on the daily. Does everybody understand what I mean by this?
Yes.
As a bear, I really want, once they crack these levels, I would look to close some, shorts here. And then if they go below and they accept it and they reject them, that would tell you a lot. That would tell you, hey, we're no longer interested in the prices that are up here. We're seeking prices that are lower. Well, if you're seeking prices that are lower, don't worry. We have a prior 3-day, if you guys recall, we had a prior 3-day balance that we broke out of. So most likely they would come back. They would test to see that level right here. And if you look here, there's 52.65 all the way, I believe, to was like 60 or so. That the range goes all the way down here. And has this been tested at all?
Not since we left it.
So here's your imbalance. We've never really tested this. So if I'm saying if you lose 53.10, I will not be shocked that we visit this fairly quickly early into the week, because then what would happen is that all the bears that missed the opportunity, let's say, to short this previous week value area high, if you go above it and lose it, that'd be a big sign for us to short it. This would reconfirm it. Your confidence on longing here would be weaker, right? You're looking to drive this all the way down. As we approach this level, I would look to kind of start closing my longs. At this level here, if you guys look, this is a major HVN. It's almost looking like a double distribution now when you go on VRVP here. Like top, really heavy trading in here. And then you have the skinny belly or LVN. And then you have a balance that was like 3-day balance, 3 days, I'm sorry, not 4 days. 3-day balance here, and that's most likely where they would want to go, like 52.45s. But I would look to close here just because of the imbalance that was caused. They're kind of sitting there, right? They have the single prints waiting. So I would just be cautious of this level as you're coming. And then on Friday's profile, do you guys see anything interesting?
was a
I
P.
mean, sure, I would say it's a compressed P. Right? So Thursday, if you look at the context of 2 days, you open at the pretty much all-time highs, right? And then you sold off and you closed at the lows. What I would suggest to you guys, whenever you have elongated profiles like this, is find this mid. Find this mid and kind of hold it. Like just put it down and say this is your, halfback period that you really want to be. And when I add this level, it's not a level I would initiate trades. But what this tells me is this is the discount of the selling day. If we have Thursday and we sold off aggressively, well, this is a 50% of that day. If they're spending a lot of time above this day and then you zoom in a little bit, there's massive single prints that start, what is this, right on 15, and the halfback sitting at a point higher. It's going to be an important level. And here, if they're able to crack this, that means that there's probably going to require a lot of what? A lot more initiation to get through it. If they want to go here, they're going to have to start selling here aggressively, right? So I would definitely keep this and see how they react. As soon as they, ideally, right, I don't know how we are going to open. If they open, let's say, below the POC here tomorrow, somewhere in this range, and they go above here and they fail to get it to the value area high of Friday, and they lose this, I will look to short this till we get to the 5260 level. You could aim, your first exit here. And then the bottom one, the bottom low green zone, I would look to kind of start closing some trades here. Okay, does that make sense?
Would you look to even? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. You could just take it on futures. But would that be an idea to for like options plays?
Yeah, why not? I mean, you want to play 3 weeks out.
Nice. Okay, that's good. That was one of my questions.
You want to give it time, right? When you're playing on a weekly profile like previous week value area high, take the current week +2 on options always. And some people are like, oh, the options are more expensive, but that's fine, but they're more probable to hit. If they're more expensive, then your account can't handle those options, right? So you should not fit something that can't work.
I was doing like middle of June options last week.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that gives you enough protection. You can easily make 30-40% on something like that. And the volatility is super low. VIX is a pretty low numbers, so the puts are fairly cheap. And there were some conflicts over the weekend, right? Especially in Middle East. There's some news about Taiwan, so we don't know what's going to come out. Could be any day that there's a new war or fear mongering to cause people to panic, right? So we're kind of watching to see what happens, right? And I don't know what's the calendar in terms of Feds. I think they're actually on blackout starting June 1st. Yeah, the Feds are, after June 1st, they can't speak. So we'll see how that plays a role in terms of the June.
Usually, for how long?
I think it's till, let me see the calendar. June 1st. I think it's till the 27th or 28th, one of the two.
I know we have GDP this week too.
Yeah, that's Atlanta. They take a dice and they roll it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say it's a little bit convoluted. This is not a clear setup because there's a price actions everywhere, right? You have some price action heavy here, right? You do have a lower high right here. You don't have a lower low yet, right? So you have an inside day. Obviously, you have a lot of single prints that are, all the way up to here. And this is massive because I believe this was all A period. And I mean, it just goes on forever. And if you guys think about this, how aggressive was this seller to get his stuff out?
Market, give me anything.
So we're going to look to see if they're able to auction to this level. Let's say they push this somewhere at 48 here and they lose 42 or peak above and fail in this zone here. I would look to short this with some options as well as some contracts that I, kind of keep my stop loss back, don't trail too close, and enjoy the profits. Because if you can hit this week properly in the first, because it's a short week, guys, it's 4 days. there's going to be a lot of compression in terms of price action, right? There's going to be, I was about to say Monday. Tomorrow is probably going to be the most explosive day. And I would expect probably Wednesday, Thursday to slow down. And then Friday, I would expect, hopefully we break out of this zone. Either way, I really don't care which way we go, but I would expect them. So for me, 22.5 previous all-time high. This is going to be crucial in terms of upside. If they want to go higher, they got to hold this. Reconfirm taking this level of CPOC. Avoid taking too many trades in RTH at this level. And when I say that, it's because it's fair price. They can come here and you expect a quick rejection. They could do this literally for some time. And then they do this or they do this. And I don't think you want to play this or that. You can, but if you're on the wrong side, you're going to hurt. And if you must take the trades from this level, at least size down. You're in a bracketed market. Okay.
So is that one of the situations where you would wait if price was doing that near CPOC, you're just going to wait for them to make the move and then respond accordingly?
Yep. Yes, that's correct. I wouldn't want to be the first one to do it.
That's why it's always so hard to take a trade for me at the POC, I feel like.
No, it's difficult. No, it's very difficult. But if you're in an uptrend, if it's an uptrend, I'll take a trade at POC.
I see.
On a
Okay.
retest of the POCs, I will take that.
That makes
In a
sense.
bracketed market, that's a fair price. They can stay there. And market makers want to stay there because the volatility for them and the hedging that they need is pretty low. Right? Because as long as you're trading there, they're making money on transactions. They're the local. So that's why I say, I would be careful, especially in bracketed markets. We're in a 2-week bracket. You're not going anywhere. It seemed like we were, and then they basically recovered Friday. The only thing is this is a compressed P, and when you think about the profile, we are very close to the halfback, right? So the halfback being, let's say, 15, 16. I would definitely pay attention to that as we're kind of trading the rest of the week. And I'll be live tomorrow in the morning as well. I did get a call from the Legacy Box, which is company doing the conversion on the tapes. They said they're finalizing the tapes and sending them our way. So I'll be spending some time as soon as I get it back. As I told you guys, I want to put the PowerPoint together with the class from Peter, visuals from us. And then I think your market profile Bible. So hopefully we get that sooner than later.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. I think we'll see how the market goes. I mean, it might be more of a, scalping market unless they do, peak above and fail on some of these major extremes. Other than that, you have to kind of be protecting your capital this week, right? You do not want to be caught on the wrong side of the move once we explode out of this, because it'll be fairly painful if you are. Okay.
Shorty, hi. Sorry, I got here a little late. Did you go over NQ at all?
No, I don't want to. I mean, I'll look at it for you guys, but I don't want to mark it up for myself because I don't want to trade it personally. But here we go.
Thank you.
So let's see. Let's just start on the monthly.
Are you holding your position overnight, Shorty?
Yeah. I certainly am.
You're in a position right now?
Yeah, I took short. I think it was 33.25.
Okay.
Short on ES?
Yeah.
I see. Nice.
I got in a little bit earlier though. Let's see. PVP.
Just a quick recap so I understand. Basically, if we open lower than close Friday tomorrow, it's pretty bearish, right?
Close of Friday? I don't
Yeah.
think we'll open below the close of Friday. I'm
Okay.
sorry, you said today or Friday? I don't count today.
Yeah, Friday. I'm talking about Friday.
Yeah, Friday, I think we closed where at 20 something, 21-ish. Let's see.
That's not NQ.
Sorry,
one
it's
second.
my bad. My bad. I
Yeah, we'll get there.
was confused.
So you close right at 21. To me, that's, I mean, if you open below this, that's pretty bearish because you're opening below previous week all area high. Ideally, I would want to see, a peak here and then lose both of these levels. And
I
that
see.
would accelerate it a little bit more.
Okay, thank you so
You
much.
want to see how they can deliver some pain tomorrow. Don't
Yeah,
be
that
part
makes
of the
sense.
pain, but let them offer the pain elsewhere.
I see. Yep, that makes sense. Thank you. Sorry
Yeah.
about that, Freely.
Oh no, that's good, man. We'll figure it out. So let's look at this.
No
So-
worries.
Identical, I would say, profile here on this NQ versus ES on the monthly profile. Actually, NQ looks somewhat stronger, right? So for NQ on the higher time frame, they have to lose this level here, which is 613. I would say they have to lose this level, longer view bears below. So if they go below this, that's a problem, right? They had an outside month. We see how this is an outside month and this is a breakout. So now if they really want to keep going, and we'll check to see if they actually hit the targets for the monthly here real quick. So they hit the one target, right? They hit the first target to a penny. The next target is about 500 points away. So if they're able to crack this, 500 points comes in really, really fast because we don't have any record to the left to know where's the supply. So they got to hold this, and then you have an LVN, and then you have a lot of shit price action waiting for us here, right? Because this is going to be on a higher time frame. This is going to be a chaos here. And most likely they would come back and start building somewhere inside here, and this becomes like a 3-4 month balance, and then the move gets really, really aggressive out of the longer periods we spend within balance, right? On the weekly time frame, let's go here.
You do have a weekly closed top on NQ. That
Maybe
goes
below
all-
it or above it?
Above it. It goes all the way as high as 19,394 and a half is or 95-ish is looks like around the top of the range. It's a big range.
Yeah.
But it is a closed cloud.
So this is our weekly pivot, if you want to call it 1840.25. If you're to lose this, I think you could enjoy a nice 92 points drop on NQ. See, I hate marking it because then I'm enticed to take it.
Yeah, it's charted now.
So I had a good plan for for ES.
You know you want to take it.
I mean, it does move good, but man, sometimes I can't blink. Like I'm just looking at the orders. I'm like, all right, what's going on? Let's see. With ES, I just take a trade and I forget about it. Let me see, what is this? Daily. Right. So this is our weekly. I mean, if they lose this range, that's great. If they come here, right, if they lose it and regain it, that's bullish. Obviously, they had today, but I really don't count today as much of anything. Now, when you look at the daily, right, let's, oh, wow, that's a nasty profile.
Mm-hmm.
But that's today's, I believe. Let them reset here real quick.
Shorty, when you set your fibs and you right click it to flip it, could you just show me that one more time?
Yeah, I'll show you guys how to set it up here real quick. You just basically create a template and then you save it as a template. Whatever you save is what gets applied.
Oh, okay.
So let's take a look here. So Thursday, definitely an outside day on NQ. And you see on the bottom, we didn't have as much access. We actually were building value in the bottom. And then you have this massive absorption here. Excess low, excess high here. And I mean, obviously, if they lose this level here, then it goes all the way down to this area here. So 813, 78. So if this happens here, there's a high chance you're going to catch this right here. So something to keep in mind. But below 840, I would target all the way to 752. And that's where your access low is from Friday as well. A few points below, 3 points below. it wouldn't be a bad area to kind of look to close. Because if you look at this, if you just grab the F3P from here to here, look where you'd be closing, right? So if you're going from here, you're closing right at the POC, multiple value area lows. So even other time frame buyers, but also the people that believe that it's a fair price would get in here. You do not want to be initiating, I would say, shorts anywhere here. If you're short here, close here until they crack this and they give you a confirmation, right? And the confirmation would be slightly below that access low. Then you can go all the way down to whatever this is, 725, because they never really filled it on Friday.
Would you not expect some kind of bounce at 787-ish?
There would be some, yeah. That's why I said I would monitor the trade between here and here, and if I see that there's, extensive footprints are showing that there's much, other time frame buyers stepping in with size, yeah, close it. But I would expect us, if we're shorting here, we would eventually auction to 753. Because this is a pretty big magnet now. Even if you pull it back a little bit more, I would think that this is going to stay in your range for POC. Yeah. So you're talking about like 14 days POC is sitting right here. A little bit lower, I guess, right here. So this would be a pretty good zone to short that, depending on where we open tomorrow. And on this, if you open below 840, that's a pretty good short right out of the gate for me, at least. If I was to play NQ, I'll potentially take this right out of the gate. Because if they can't open inside the value, and let's say they come back here and they get rejected, and this becomes A plus. Right here. You peak above value area low, you get rejected, and that's also your value area high. Oh man, that would be pretty sweet on NQ. I would really look forward to that. Now that I charted it, I'll most likely take it. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. I'll trade live. Hopefully, we can hit some trades early on and avoid the chop. I would expect some chop this week. There's probably some rebalancing happening towards the end of the month as well.
Thanks, Shorty.
Okay. All right, guys.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Shorty.
night. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shorty. Good night.
Ready?
See you guys.